So what's up, guys? So back with another one. So today I got Jerry, who works in corporate development in Japan. So Jerry, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Hi everyone. I'm Jerry. I work in corporate development at a large size or publicly listed Japanese company. I've been in Japan for nearly 6 years, and yeah, I play futsal slash football with Rumon up until his injury.
So yeah, that's how I met Jerry. So we used to play futsal together before and learned about his background working in corporate development. And I think this is my first interview doing. I think usually I interviewed all engineers, but he's my first guest that is working in corporate development, which is like a completely different sector from the people that I interviewed in the past. So I hope you guys enjoy it. So Jerry, corporate development, these are like two big words. So for normal people, I guess they won't understand what does that mean. So can you explain what does actually corporate development mean?
Yep. So corporate development, or in the Japanese context, a lot of times called corporate planning or keikikaku. It means it's just anything that's strategic to help the company grow, and it's a core function at any company. And so, at any mid to large size companies, you would have a corporate development team that looks at business strategy and planning and stuff like that. So specifically, I think there's two sides to this. There's like the offensive or like the attacking side of it versus like the defensive side of it, if you want to use a football analogy. Um, with regards to the attacking side, you would have things like financial planning, mergers and acquisitions with M&A. You would have PMI, which is post-merger integration, which happens after an M&A is executed. And yeah, you would also do like data analysis on KPIs and stuff, and also research the market to better understand your competitors, etc. So that's kind of the offensive side of things. The defensive side encompasses things like risk management, corporate governance, and business portfolio management. So like when you have assets that you don't want anymore, you would like clear them out, etc. So yeah, that's kind of overall what corporate development is.
So Jerry, can you tell me where you're from?
So I was born in Taiwan, and I grew up in Taiwan, the U.S., and Australia.
So
Yeah,
three countries.
three countries. Yeah.
So what's your favorite country out of the three countries?
Um, I mean, I hate that question, but I mean, it's really hard to pick. There's good things and bad things about each. So I kind of just like roam through and live in whichever country I feel like at the moment.
So you said you're from Taiwan, right? Do you think
Oh yeah, I was born in
you was
Taiwan.
born in
Yeah.
Taiwan? Okay. Have you lived in Taiwan for a long time, or
Yeah. I mean, altogether about 10 years. I might live there in two different stints, but yeah, altogether probably just about 10 years.
so then after that you went to Australia, then you came to.
It's a lot more complicated than that. So I was born in Taiwan. Um, lived there until I was like 2 or 3 years old, and moved to the U.S. Spent about 3 years there. Um, and then moved to Australia. Spent about another 3 years there, and then moved back to Taiwan. Spent about 6, 7 years back in Taiwan till the end of middle school, and moved back to Australia, and that was like the start of senior high school. And then I stayed in Australia throughout the rest of high school, throughout university, and then until my second year of working, and that's when I moved to Japan.
Wow, that's it's quite international.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's a typical day in the life like in your day-to-day job?
Oh yeah, so a typical day would start around say 9:30 to 10 a.m. Um, I jump on a an online call with my colleagues, just like a stand-up meeting, just to discuss what we need to do for the day and where things are. And then I'd go off and work on some PowerPoint slides or some Excel sheets. Those could be, valuations of companies, or just looking at the financials of a potential target, or the financial situation of a company that we've already acquired and we're already operating and running. Um, if it's a PowerPoint slide, it would be a presentation for a higher up, like the president or the CEO of the company. Um, and yeah, I'll probably work on that for like 2 or 3 hours just to kind of figure out things. And
So let's talk a bit about AI. And how do you think AI has impacted your work?
I think it's definitely made things a lot more efficient. So, for example, if I'm trying to make a, presentation on something, I could just throw it to AI and say, "This is the situation. What are the main points that I need to cover?" And AI would spit out some points I need to cover, and I just like follow the prompt and kind of fill in the gaps. So in that sense, it's made things easier. I think it's also helped with just data analytics. Just made things a lot easier. And yeah, I mean, in business, you're covering a lot of really abstract questions, and so and on top of that, for a person high up in the business to make a decision, you need to cover all the grounds, and AI helps in being able to spit out all the different points that need to be covered before making a decision. So it's helped a lot in that sense.
Do you think it's progressing really quickly? Because even AI is able to answer abstract questions, and it can solve math problems and IT problems too. So, do you think in the future, especially in your field, how do you plan on staying relevant with the progress of AI?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to eliminate some of the grunt work in the corporate world. Just writing basic PowerPoint slides, etc. That could all be done by AI very, very quickly, and so that part's probably going to go away within the next 3 to 5 years, I feel. But yeah, staying relevant is just you need to train your mind. You need to be able to still in a meeting setting, you need to be able to understand what's important in a project, in a business deal, and be able to present yourself well and discuss that, which is if you're talking to a seller or a buyer on the other side of the table, you're never going to be able to put an AI in my place to do that. So there's always going to be some human element, and just how to think about things is the important thing.
What would be the starting compensation range for a new grad that are trying to get into the corporate sector?
I think if you're talking about corporate development or corporate planning, um, the starting salary you would look at about at least 5 million, probably 5.5 million Japanese yen. And yeah, as you rise through ranks, you could go up from there.
So that's still higher than the national average of Japan.
Definitely, yeah, yeah.
So it's definitely like a sought after field. Like
100%, yeah.
So you mentioned the starting range, but what are the top earners in your field make? Like the top.
Top. I mean, let's put it this way. I think as you rise through the ranks, you go from 5.5 million Japanese yen, to, let's say, if you're 3 to 5 years in, you'd be earning 8 million, 9 million, or something like that. Maybe just under 10 million. You can rise through and definitely break the 10 million mark. And as you climb higher, depending on what kind of company, what kind of industry you're in, you can definitely go a lot higher than that. And so, yeah, definitely above 10 million Japanese yen. And in fact, if you look at a lot of the CEOs and presidents in Japan, a lot of them come from a corporate development or corporate planning background. And so if you look at it from that sense, as you rise through in the corporate development field, there really is no ceiling. You can earn and grow to be a CEO at a top company and earn lots more.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the wrong field. So acquiring company is like a pretty big thing. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of complexities involved. But how do you identify a company as like a good acquisition target?
Acquisition target. So, I mean, how the flow would work is we would have investment banks pitch us potential deals, and we would also get referrals from other people as well, not necessarily banks or institutions, but from connections, etc. And so those potential deals would come in, and we would filter through them, and see what looks good, what doesn't. And the way we filter through and see what is a potentially good deal is, I think there's two angles to this. One is you're in it for the business synergies. Specifically, it would help their business as well as our existing business, and so most of the time, those would be companies in adjacent fields in the same industry. Or it could be a vertical integration, but that's a different thing. The other type would be a type of deal where you invest in the company purely for the gains, financial gains. You're not necessarily helping them out in terms of their business strategy, etc. And maybe they don't have too much in common with you, but you just inject the cash. They need the cash. They grow, and then at a certain point, you would divest and exit from that deal. And so, in the first case scenario, if there's good synergies in terms of the business for both parties, then that's a good deal. In the second case, if the target company needs cash and we have cash, then and the target company has good growth potential, and would utilize that cash well, then I think that's also a good deal.
All right. So, what would you suggest to new grads that are just graduated from university? They don't know what to do, but maybe some of them are trying to get into the business or corporate development sector. So, what would you suggest them to, like, that would make it easier for them to transition into a career like yours?
I think there's two ways to go about it. I think you can either go down the general business path and build up your expertise as a business professional, or you can build up your expertise in a specific type of job or a specific industry first, and then add on the business knowledge later on. And so if we talk about the first type, you would want to get some business experience, and a lot of people do that by joining consulting firms or investment banking, or if you want, you can start doing things in the legal sphere as well, doing corporate transactions, etc., and becoming a lawyer. Once you build up some experience there, you can then specifically drill down into a specific industry. And yeah, that's how you would transition. In terms of the second scenario, you would join a company, say, doing engineering or services or whatever, and you would learn the trade and understand how things work on the ground in great detail. And then as you rise up, you would need more business knowledge, and then you can add that on later and then go into business, corporate development from that angle. So that's kind of the two different ways you can go about it.
Yeah, one final question is, what advice would you give to my viewers that aspire to have a good career, especially in Japan, especially the foreigners? So, do you have any advice or suggestions, or even like a quote you live by?
I mean, specifically if they're trying to work in Japan, I'd say definitely learn Japanese. It's really hard to get away from that.
There is no shortcut.
Yeah, but besides that, I think just this applies to any job in any field. I think just stay curious, be curious, try to be adaptable to different types of environments and circumstances and people, and yeah, just keep learning.